Cybernation Uncensored.
Hey, we are officially back. Everyone should be able to see us and hear us now. Let's just say hello. Let's test those mics a little bit, everyone.
Hello, how's everybody?
Hello.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Cool. I can hear everyone. I can see everyone, so I'm good with moving forward. Chat, let me know if anyone's frozen, anyone's muted, anyone's too quiet, too loud, anything like that, and we'll get it adjusted as we go. This is our session 0, so it's just the beginning. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Before we dive into the team, the characters, the dynamics between them, the setting, everything that is involved with the session 0, let's first go around the table. Everyone introduce yourself. Let people know where they can find you online. And I guess don't worry about introducing your character just yet. Raven, start it off.
My name is Raven. You can find me all over the internet at A Familiar Raven. I am the chronicler for the High Riders campaign. My apologies for yesterday. I needed a little bit more time to put the last 2 episodes into motion. We're closing out season 3 for first stage, and season 1 for second stage. And there's going to be a little bit of probably reshuffling, maybe recombining both into one, or keep them as separate as is. Which we shall see. Hope you bring a tissue box for the next couple episodes, because it may be a little bit hard hitting. And in the works, possibly have a one-shot going for The Walking Dead and Transformers Shattered Glass in the works.
Very cool. Now I'm excited about getting some Walking Dead going. I know we talked about that a while ago. I've got some plans for some Walking Dead as well. But it's gonna have to wait though. I want to get through this cyborg finally. We're finally back with some cyborg. I've also got some Shadows of Esther, and I gotta get out after that tutorial series. But I'm excited. At least you're gonna get a one shot for The Walking Dead going. Hopefully that'll be sooner than later. I think that game is really cool. I love The Walking Dead. Alex, what's up?
Hi everyone, I am Alex Maxwell. You can find me hopefully sometime soon. I'll be getting Talk Nerdy to Me back up and running. It'll be on the first Friday of every month, where we get myself and a few other guests on right here on Cybernation Uncensored, just talk about the tech, tabletop news, and general nerddom.
And I heard you got a new host coming in too for the next episode from
Yes.
Fantasy Grounds.
Yes, yeah, we are getting some Fantasy Grounds fam in as our new tabletop host. I'm looking forward on breaking ground. This will be a lot of catch up, because holy crap, there's been a lot of juicy nerd goodness this year. A lot of them involving sand. Dune 2 and Furioso just
so good.
Yeah, I'm so stoked to be back here on Saturdays. I can't wait to get back into the. I think he only has one boot probably, but we'll get into that later. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm a writer, tabletopper, and general Dorcas Maximus by trade. You can find me. My socials should be in the overlay thing. I don't see it on our video thing, but you should see it.
It's there. I see it
on the screen there. And wherever video games are played, you can find me under Stormwolf 92. Join me on Helldivers. We can go smash some thugs.
Oh, I like the sound of that. And my buddy Billy, you're back. What's up?
Hello. How's it going, everybody? I'm Will, aka Public Pancakes. That's where you can find me on most of the things.
That is very true. I'm glad that you're back. I realized we've been playing together for a really long time.
We have.
Lots of teams.
Yeah.
Lots of teams. And we got anyone that caught the original trial run of Cyborg. I think we had a couple sessions in, and then I had some filmmaking to do. We had some events. Some people were out of town. Like we it just kind of fell apart over the course of a couple months. We lost a couple
I
play.
still wanted to be part of that.
Well, hey, look, here you are, and that's what I was just gonna get at. Is look, that kind of fell apart. Anyone that did catch a little bit of that, you might notice we lost a couple players there. Still friends of the channel, friends of the community, and all that. They just got some job stuff going. Nicholas, in particular, is diving into some of his writing. So if anyone's a fan of that, check out his channel on our Discord. He's been hitting that hard, and he's been helping me with some campaign stuff. We're going to be releasing a couple campaigns for Cyborg on Drive-Thru very soon. But yeah, a couple new players joining us straight from our Patreon, from our community. Been down for a while. I know you've been playing with other GMs on the channel and just been part of it, both y'all. But yeah, let's introduce him. Vulpus Fox, start it off. What's up?
Well, as Rob said, I'm Vulpus Fox, and I'd like to say hello, programs, and greetings. You can find me all over the place, especially hanging out with the Cybernation area. Vulpus Fox, you can hit me up anytime you might need help. If I can't find the answer, I will definitely, or don't know it, I will definitely find out what the answer is to your question. Let's see. I guess you can find me over on X, although I don't frequent it that much. I'm generally the pain in the ass player that the GM dreads seeing showing up. Going, shit, I've got to hide the rules. So, generally love just making mayhem and having fun and keeping everybody there watching the stream entertained.
Oh yeah, nice, well put.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh yeah. And our other buddy joining, I know you've been streaming, I think, with Raven in particular, too, but been part of the Cybernation Uncensored community now.
Oh, yeah.
Joining this team and part of the Patreon, Nolan. What's up, man?
Hello, thank you for having me. This is going to be very exciting. I've been looking forward to playing Cyborg, and who else to better play it with than GM Rob Mulligan?
Hey.
And, of course, the Cybernation Uncensored. I said that wrong. Cybernation Uncensored. There we go. No, I did say it right. Anyways, but playing with them is going to be really fun. I know that these are some of the crews that actually got me into playing Cyberpunk, or rather learning the rules of Cyberpunk Red, mainly with GM Rob Mulligan and Team Nevermore. So that was great. So playing with these guys, it's kind of almost like a little fan, just like fangirling on the inside. I don't know how good I am at containing it, but I am containing it the best I can. And so when GM Raven asked me to play in their game, I was really excited. But besides that, I'm going to be playing Cyborg with these guys, and you can find me on Instagram at Nolan_North, where I don't really post too much, but getting the socials out, building out some rapport, hopefully becoming a good member of the community for tabletop role playing, because I got sucked into it really hard, and I have too many books to read now.
I think that's an ongoing problem with everyone. Into tabletop role playing. We have way more games and books than we'll ever probably get to in a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome to the team, and such great compliments. Really appreciate that. Not just myself, but the community and players. It means a lot. We put out tons of content and gameplay, and we have a passion for this. So it's awesome to get that feedback and for you to kind of step up and join us and play with us and shit like that, man. Very cool.
No, it's so exciting.
Hell yeah. So yeah, thanks chat for tuning in. This is our session 0. This is our team of players. Before we get into the characters, I just want to go over some basic session 0 stuff and some Cyborg stuff. First off, anyone that's not familiar, Cyborg, it's kind of like the cyberpunk bastard child of Morkborg. It's definitely, as much as I love Cyberpunk, everyone knows I fucking love Cyberpunk Red, but I absolutely fell in love with Cyborg. It is the epitome of style over substance. It is such little crunch and all about the role play. And if anyone's been watching my gameplay, my tutorial series, things like that, when I talk about Shadows of Estrin and different games and things, like, I fucking love heavy role play, light crunch. I love leaning into the story, creating awesome situations and scenes together, and I just love that stuff. And Cyborg is all that. It's also pretty dark, dystopian, very cyberpunk, but it pushes things a step further than like typical cyberpunk stuff into a slight sci-fi-ish realm, in the sense of these sort of alien dust nanomite things that came down and hit the city of Psy and Ground Zero before and infected people and just kind of destroyed the center of the city, which is still infected and kind of fucked up, and you're supposed to kind of avoid it. There's creatures and mutations that have come from it. One thing in particular is one of the character role options is a nanomancer, where you're infected. You have like a potential power, but an infection that can kind of fuck you up, and hence why a couple of our characters look a little weird. You can see a little hint of that in Vulpus Vox's overlay there. But yeah, it's a dark, twisted cyberpunk style game. And yeah, it gets brutal, just as brutal as our Cyberpunk game. So I want it to be known like there's going to be some cussing, there's going to be some violence, there's going to be some gore, there's going to be all that stuff you expect with a dark horror Cyberpunk style game. The same shit that you've been seeing me put out on Cybernation Uncensored for years and all of our other GMs. It's a very adult-oriented gameplay. We don't try to nerf things up too much. However, we do avoid some things as to not offend or cross those lines. We do have lines and veils and all that good stuff, and I do want to go over that for a moment here on our session 0. For me personally, as a GM, I have very little boundaries. I don't get offended easily. I typically don't like violence against animals, children, the typical stuff like that. Even if it might appear in a game, it won't be like fully a focal point or anything, because that stuff. I love little animals and shit. Like, I'll fuck up people every day, But that's just my little thing. I don't like getting too graphic about animals and children, obviously. And when it comes to gameplay, like even though we'll kind of push things in certain directions where you might get fucked with, or some like socio-political-esque moments and stuff in gameplay. I'm not going to push things into any like bigotry, homophobia, sexism, any of those typical fucking over-the-top offensive bullshit things, like no real-life politics as well. Anything that you see in any of my fucking gameplays is absolutely from my mind and influenced maybe by the real world, in combination with all the things that I've seen and done in entertainment and more. So nothing is a direct correlation of any real life politics, real life people, or anything like that. Just know that everything here is made up, and as most tabletop role playing games, it's a collaboration between myself as game master, kind of presenting the skeleton, and the players adding the meat and things to it as we expand the stories and things together. But as I said, for me, animals, children, the typical offensives, racism, sexism shit, I avoid all that sort of stuff. I'm pretty transparent. I've put out plenty of gameplays and session 0s for most people to kind of know that. But I do want to go around the table and give everyone a chance to, voice any of their sort of lines and veils or anything. Or if I kind of covered everything, at least let me know that you agree with those. And also know that, sometimes these topics are touchy. So absolutely, the fact that we stream live, if there's something you don't want to talk about right now, you don't fucking have to. Just message me a private DM after this session 0, and we'll make sure that it's implemented and taken into account, right? But yeah, that being said, let's go around the table and kind of just talk about that a little bit. Raven, do you want to start it off?
Well, I think the fans and the players that do have I've had with me kind of already know my style and what my boundaries are. You pretty much touched on a lot of the issues. As I bring in a little bit of influence from politics outside, hence AI rights. So we do have quite a bit of that in my show.
There are people too.
Yeah, but cruelty to animals, children, abuse towards women. That's pretty much all I would have. There's not anything I would add.
Nice, Alex.
Generally, any of my, we would be blacklisted on Twitch before we get into any of my actual hard lines and veils. So it's not much of a concern for me. So generally I will, no harm to animals. I've worked in zoos most of my life. I love animals. No harm against kids, obviously. And yet I abhor the ists and the phobe. That's where it's because one of my favorite settings to run or games is Octon Cthulhu. As if you have an ist or a phobe, you usually end up kicking their ass. So if you have someone of the yeah, so as we all we understand, no one has that actual like viewpoint, and you have like an NPC that is, you know, a piece of work, then we give them the works, and that's all hunky dory. I love that. But yes, I am not gonna go and offend anyone. Never intend to offend any of my fellow players or anyone in chat. I I'm generally like fine with pretty much anything. Um, I know that with Cyborg, it is cyberpunk with an extra body horror element, and especially playing the Nanomancer, it, I as long as it doesn't make anyone squeamish, I want to lean into that. Just because that's what makes Cyborg so unique to me. But yeah, I will you know, curtail it to people's comfort levels. It's the same thing, doing like Cthulhu stuff, things horror of various inclinations. I want to toe the line and not go over it. So yes, when I'm playing, like communicate with me, chat as well. If I'm being too gross, when I'm being my character doing his gross brain wizard thing, like let me know, and I'll dial it back some. But other than that, yeah, I'm like, hit me, hurt me. Let's go.
All right, sounds good. Billy. Will.
Hey, oh, what? Me, right?
Yeah, you. I was just. It says Billy on the overlay, but I'm so used to calling you Will. That's why every time I'm like Billy, I'm like Will.
That says Billy on there. Anyway, yeah, no, yeah, all the standards, especially, people with physical disabilities and whatnot. But I no violence against kids, but I think it's awesome. Like in Cyberpunk, I read how they have the yo gangs, and like I've even like been planning to introduce some of those into my campaigns. Just like because I just think it's awesome when just like a group of kids does something like badass, like.
Well, yeah, I think teens, preteens, we can get away with that. Obviously, like Cyberpunk, you are gonna have some of that dark stuff. I think when it gets down to like toddlers and infants and shit, right?
Oh yeah.
It's the was it like
paddling?
Yeah.
It's like if a great example is like Extraction on Netflix. You have like a teenager, he sees Crips Hemsworth just slap the kid so hard he pinwheels. Like yeah.
But yeah, no, that makes sense. So yeah, and we've played together plenty of times, so I think we kind of know kind of our lines and veils for the most part, but at least to make it known. So, all new players, people watching, all that sort of stuff, they can kind of get an idea of where we're sitting. But Vulpus Fox.
Honestly, I look at this as, one, this is a game. Two, it's dark game. And we're here to entertain people. Whatever road we need to go down, to keep the crowd entertained, I'm willing to do it as an actor, fully. But, when it comes to, the kids and stuff, I'm on board with you there, Rob. I mean, I'm 100% there. I will not harm a kid. I don't want to see it in the game or anything like that. Unless for some reason out there in left field, it makes sense. If the kid is, being dangled from a banister or something like that, and we got to save the kid, that's one thing. But, just outright torture of a child, just can't do it. That and animals.
Yeah.
Unless the animals can take care of themselves like a bear, they can rip your head off.
And unless it's a mutated jackal style animal that isn't a nanomancer that. Oh wait, no, that's for the game master to fuck up. Let me fuck you guys.
Yeah.
No.
I feel targeted.
Oh no. We need to go to our safe room.
Would you like to file a complaint?
I was just fold myself into a Samus ball and roll into the doghouse.
Oh my god.
The chat.
And
Kicked out of
Nolan.
the doghouse.
So one of my players in my games is in here, so he knows that nothing is off limits for me, which is a good thing. Because again, I kind of agree with Volpez. To a certain extent, this is a game first and foremost. So anything that happens here pretty much stays here, and that's why I have therapy. So That's about me. I have no lines and veils at the moment, and nothing that has been crossed too far.
Oh, yeah, nice. Well, yeah, that being said, I think we all kind of agree. We all kind of sit on the same sort of platform here of lines and veils. Seems pretty obvious, pretty typical. And at least, we don't have any with typical violence and gore and things like that, because just like I said, with most cyberpunk style games, cyborg is just that. And with the body horror and all that, like, it can definitely get gross. It can get kind of crazy at times and stuff. But I'm glad we're all here for that. So let's do this now. Let me get that character overlay there so we can see everyone's character name and role. There we go. And now, like, what I'd like to do is, like, let's instead of, kind of going around the table and little by little revealing our characters, let's just deep dive each character. We'll go to each one of you and just go over your character. We don't need to go over, the stats and skills, things that you rolled and stuff like that. But I think, the role that you chose, how the character looks, their name, obviously, what's their background, if you create any type of like life path story sort of thing for your character. There's that optional section I mentioned earlier pre-stream. If you didn't roll on it, we'll roll on it now, but there's that section where it talks about your wants and your quirks and things like that. Like, let's go over all that stuff. So a couple things here. Chat can get a better feel for all the characters that make up the team. We can all visualize the characters. We can kind of feel their personalities a little bit, But also that way us as players can kind of know the other players as characters, so we can kind of think about our own characters and the relations that might build here. Because we are going to put the team together in a home base that you guys work out of, and that sort of vibe inside, because like collectively you have to stay together just to survive and try to cover bills. And we'll go over that. I have kind of a fun idea for that. But you know what I mean? As we go through each character, everyone think about your own character in ways that they could possibly relate with other characters. Maybe not everyone knew everyone as long as now they know each other. I don't know, but let's figure all that out as we go. Raven, do you want to start it off? I know you keep starting it off. I'm just kind of going in order of overlay. I'm not trying to always put you on the spot as starting it off, but fuck it. Yeah, I am. You're my community manager here.
You're it.
Start it the fuck off. You're it. Uh-oh, you've appeased the mute gods.
Mute gods.
Are you able to play that intro that I put together?
Oh yeah. Let me see. Let me see if this comes through. I'm also gonna after that. I'm gonna get some Sirenscape city sounds going just to kind of set the mood. Shout out the Sirenscape official sponsor, Cybernation Uncensored. Let's see if this plays and if people can hear it.
In the chaotic aftermath of the bombs, where the cityscape is a twisted maze of rubble and forgotten dreams, emerged a lone survivor named Ruckus. With striking purple hair and a rebellious glint in her eyes, Ruckus roams the streets as a teenage gearhead with a knack for breathing life back into the tech others have left for dead. She's got an average build, but there's nothing average about her spirit. At 18, or perhaps 21, time has become as fragmented as her memories. Her life took a turn when a building collapse nearly claimed her, only for her to be saved by a mobile gun platform buried in the wreckage. The machine, adopting her name, now stands as her unlikely companion and protector, both sharing the moniker Ruckus. Now she operates out of a scrapyard she calls her own, a haven where she can tinker with discarded tech and trade secrets in exchange for hard cash. A true anarchist at heart, she's driven by the lure of money and chaos, thriving in a world where loyalty is bought and sold, and every day is a fight for survival.
I'm not picking up Sirenscape at all.
I wasn't going to play it till after this. I was trying to get everyone to be quiet because when you guys were talking over it, it was cutting into the audio that was playing for chat and for everyone to hear. That's why I kept going like that. I don't know if anyone could see me. Hopefully chat could hear all that, even with a little bit of chatter. I tried to make it nice and loud, but I still want to go over it. I think that was an awesome sort of pre-record or whatever. But Raven, obviously, kind of reiterate that or expand on it. Just give us another description of the looks and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Wookie Kev's heard it loud and clear. Awesome. Okay, perfect. But yeah, let's get into that. Anything to add to that? And obviously your character is an orphaned gearhead. You want to kind of explain that as well?
To me, orphan gearhead was She lost her parents, or actually relatives, in the when the bombs fell. Kind of lost connection. That actually kind of has amnesia from the experience of riding a building all the way down from the top floor and surviving, and being rescued by her gun platform, who's adopted the name Ruckus. They kind of share the same kind of mentality and the same type of. I don't know if I project that type of character into Ruckus, but they know and they inherently know what I'm talking about when I speak to them, and what I want them to do.
And we should explain too to chat and other players, an orphaned gearhead. Part of that character creation is you get some type of drone item. You're kind of like a tech gearhead sort of character, but in this case, Ruckus has Ruckus, right? Because it's them, it's their one, but it's this sort of big weapon platform. It's this huge sort of cannon gun big platform. And by session one, I kind of I can pull up some of the imagery here. Maybe I can find some of it. I'll pull it up. Hold on one second.
I kind of
Actually,
almost see it as
Oh,
a
here we go.
Tachikoma.
Here we go. Let me go over to the battle.
Yep.
It just screams Tachikoma to me, almost.
Yeah, like the spider tank from Ghost
Yeah.
in the Shell. Yeah.
Ruckus doesn't quite talk back yet. I'm working on that.
You need to give him natural oil. I think that's the secret.
Do you hear responses, or is it just you speaking
I hear
to?
responses. It's more like telepathic.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Oh, kind of like when C-3PO is talking to R2-D2. He beeps, but C-3PO understands.
Right. So
Oh,
what?
that's
I
nice.
could see that.
Yeah. So what about your quirks and wants and that whole section of character creation?
So quirks is I can't sit idle for very long. I get bored. I get very bored. Just like when with that fever dream. For the life of me, I don't know why, but I think I remember being sitting in a freaking waiting room with all kinds of snacks, and I emptied the entire room and spray painted it from ceiling to floor, every crevice. I had to leave my tag everywhere.
Nice.
You're one of those.
On a description, I stand about 5'4", crop denim jacket with all kinds of name brands that I whenever I come across one, I slice it off and I add it to my jacket. Crop top t-shirt, baggy jeans, mechanic style, and combat boots. My visor, or my mirror shades, are pretty much half my face. And my mechanics gear, my tool sets and various spray paints. Driven by greed, can't get anywhere without money. Money makes the world go around, right? So
That was my
and,
favorite
it's
intro
distrust.
song for Ghost in the Shell. But sorry, moving on.
I distrust most everyone else except Ruckus.
Nice. And what was
I see.
what was the want in cork? Repeat that part again.
Let's see.
Did you
The
roll on
quirk
that?
is I can't sit idle. I tend to like I want to put my tag on everything,
Nice.
and I would wants to see others fail.
Ooh, one of
I,
those.
I
One
laugh,
of the.
I laugh when I see when I see people attempt things and just fall short.
Is it just funny, or is it one of those like makes you feel better
it's
about
hilarious.
yourself to see others fail?
Oh, it's hilarious.
Okay. Nice. All right, cool. What about Shind?
So, Shin is, as we've teased at, he is a shunned Nanomancer. The mutating effects affect everyone in different ways. So some apparently for Shind, it was to get extremely bulky, almost to the point of grotesquerie, and shades of purple. But also involved massive jaws, big teeth, large ears, milky white, almost like like blind eyes. But it's an overall very hyenid countenance. He's he's got this extra large, super dense body. When he bleeds, plants grow out of his wounds. He's really into mixing stems, and as it shows in just his general self. It's like, that's what happens when you mix together, I don't know, a rock star and like super vodka. Let's find out. He has this snaggletooth, massive smile, enhanced cheekbones that the sheet says like a flirty, but also you've got a fucking 8 foot tall hyena man being like, "Hey, honey, ding." Hey, everyone's got a type, I guess. He'll find his. Yeah, his style is, as I rolled it, was killer core, which to me screams like Kiss vest. So like a lot of like tattered leather and like fuckload of spikes and probably like bullet bracelets. Those big old, because he's got the whole like hyena thing going on, a mohawk that goes all the way down to his mid back, just this massive matted purple thing. Going to keep with the fever dream, as if as kind of like the ruckus junkyard dog, actually living out of the doghouse.
Possibly.
Because yeah, possibly.
We'll go over that in a moment, but yeah, I like.
Yeah.
Look, no, you know what? No, you know what? I'll give that to you, guaranteed. No matter where we put the home base, there's gonna be a doghouse for Shin. We can make this happen. Yeah. We can make this happen.
Yeah, you can just this loaf up and just sitting there. Makes it even funnier when the Dark Souls music plays and he just slithers out of it. Yeah, he is. He is the quite like the muscle wizard cast fist. He being a nanomancer, being like the spellcaster in the game. He's also got a crap load of hit points. And he loves using his one psychic ability is just staring at someone and giving them a hemorrhage.
Go over again. What's his nano ability or his nano power?
His nano power is psychic scalpels. I have also colloquially called eye stangs. Because a living target of his choice, they test presence or lose 10 hit points. Their eyes bleed, their ears ring. So it's like doing like the absolute worst Xavier thing to somebody.
Yeah. What's the when that fails? When you trigger an infection from that direct sort of nano power, what's your infection or whatever your
bloodlust, which ties into his big old jaw. He has to eat raw meat every 2 to 3 hours. Doesn't matter where it's from, but on a nano fumble he goes for the nearest throat. So it's if he does his nano and he fumbles it, I imagine it's kind of like Kim stim-addled brain. It's the very Looney Tunes fashion when he sees someone become like a burger, and just goes in just yum, bite, hunger. Yeah, he's got
Red Robin.
Yeah, yum.
You try it.
I've made a mental note to keep a fresh pack of some kind of fresh meat that's bloody, so that if it ever happens, I'm ready for it.
Ruckus, sick him.
I just go like, yes, meat armor. the creature will never know.
And I like that one too because on a fail, the nano powers, and for people watching, when a nanomancer tries to use their sort of power from that infection, whatever the mutated super power that they have, if they fail on that, they crit fail on that, like we just described, they get some type of infection or reaction from trying to use that power incorrectly or it failing and kind of fucking him up, in which case Shin just kind of goes into a crazy bloodlust sort of thing, like has to eat and feed in that sense, just uncontrollably for so many rounds or whatever. But I like the aspect of that, being at a detriment to the team, right? So like when Shin is going to use his power, maybe it's a thing where it's like almost like a team, like, okay, fuck, well, we need him to. Let's try it. All right, go for it, dude. Like, like everyone's like, they know, you know what I mean? They all know, but they're like, fuck, we need you to do this. But, okay, let's, fingers crossed, go for it.
He was, can I?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, do it.
Get him. Yeah.
No, I like that. And the look of them too. I like the mutated form of it because there's different ones where they're hairy or scaly or different things. Nanomancers have all different types of mutations, and we can create our own, obviously, whatever. But I like the fact that you're a nanomancer and the one played by Vulpus Fox both have like the hairy hyena jaw sort of mutated look thing, because I think right there we can talk about, and I know we did off camera prior to session 0, talked about a possible cult and connection and the infection thing, to where like maybe you guys knew each other having the same infection and shit. Like I like that aspect of it. That's really cool.
It's wild that almost a year apart, the two nanomancers ended up with almost the exact same mutations, and that's, if I had a nickel, I have two nickels.
If I had a nickel, man,
Yeah.
I filmed did anyone see that little clip I put of Andy Dick? I was filming some B horror movie for James Balsamo, and he had like a child show that he did as an adult, and we had him come in the door like 10 different times where he just busted in, and that was his catchphrase. He comes in, he's like, if I had a nickel. It's like, I don't know. That clip is so funny. If anyone saw it, it's out of context here, but just had to say it because it's funny you brought that up. Also, shout out to Ockraven in chat. One of our Cybernation Uncensored GMs ran some games for us there in chat. What's up? But yeah, go on. Sorry to interrupt.
But so no worries, because as Rob said, the nanos, the powers that a nano has can be very volatile. That is where Shin has his big old like Joker like pants gat of an ancient revolver, big old like 500 Smith and Wesson hand cannon, and a couple of flashbangs for when they want to just. It's like, Shin, for the love of Corpo, be normal just this once. And I was like, okay, you have 6 shots for me to be normal, and then I'll choose something else. But yeah, he's a wild wackadoo. Somehow I'm going to have to be the gremlin and also the face, which is, I know, who can say no to that smile? But yeah, that's him, the flirty chemhead who likes to melt things with his brain.
Nice, perfect, and well put. I like that little summary at the end there. Billy, William, when you do something wrong and I'm angry at you, tell us about TD.
Hey, so I'll be playing. His name is Bimobom. Bim for short, but sometimes people will call him TD, as in technical difficulties, to antagonize him. Sporting pretty much just a hoodie with pins in it, or or whatever, like a t-shirt. But he's very, very meticulous to make sure that his clothes are not wrinkled, and despite the fact that his hair will be quite unkempt, and all over the place sometimes. But he I rolled that he was a chain smoker, but I would say because of his so he has a voice modulator. He has his pretty much his larynx and vocal cords were all chewed through by a rabid dog when he was younger. So he has a voice modulator that's really janky. It's just like it's like very, very old gen tech with like this old very old gen AI that's meant to help for voice modulation, but it just and since his voice is just kind of like his voice profile is just shoehorned in there, it'll fuck up sometimes or a lot of times, and just grab some random AI voice that simulates what he's trying to say. So he tries not to speak very much because he does gesture a lot.
I like that. That's a lot of role play fun. I think that's a really creative character choice that can lean into some fun role play, whether good or bad in sticky situations or whatever. I think it's a fun creative idea. Props on coming up with that. Yeah.
But yes,
Take a
the
look.
Renegade Cyber Slasher. If I didn't mention that, I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah,
But,
I pulled up the imagery there on the overlay for chat just to get a little vibe, but.
Yeah, I mean, he's born to kill, pretty much. I mean, guy's got mirrored eyes. He wields as it shows in the book, a goddamn flail, and also throwing knives, which he keeps meticulously clean. But
Does he have too many of them?
he has
Never had enough.
just the right amount, and he sure to recover them. He does have he has pretty severe short-term memory loss as well. But he's been working with you guys just long enough where like it's sunk in where he like knows he can feel like familiar around you, but he might not know it, like what he said to you yesterday at all. So like he's, and it's a point of contention because his wants he wants safety for his mother.
Oh no.
The old mom.
Yeah, what about the quirks and obsession or whatever?
That was his wants. The quirks was I did roll that he was a chain smoker, but of course he gestures a lot. And then he's pretty obsessed with obsolete tech.
Did we go over
So
those
probably
with
one
Shind?
for-
I can't remember if we did you do your wants, quirks, and obsession? I don't think you did. Mention.
Well, let me get the cyborg book open. I'm gonna do that.
Oh,
Yeah, check that out. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back around. Once
Yeah,
I have
because
them
those
rolled.
are important. Those are fun. They're
Yeah,
little.
yeah, yeah.
They're just little role play tidbits that you lean into. I'm not gonna. I might
Yeah.
fuck with them here and there, but it's more just to give some spice to the character. I think they're fun. It's an optional rule in the cyborg book, but to me, it's like a fucking necessity for fun role play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, give me a second. I'll roll.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I love Renegade Cyber Slashers. They're kind of like fighter style, but melee, right? Isn't that kind of like their thing? Whereas like, what is it? A corporate something? They're more into like the
corporate killer, I think.
yeah, they're more into like the assault weapon,
Yeah.
like guns and stuff. Whereas Renegade Cyber Slasher, they're more like melee weapons and more hand to hand, like more personal, I guess, in their violence. But no, I love that. I love the voice box option, the wants, all that stuff. Pretty cool. What about Yarp? Vulpus, tell us about Yarp. And we already kind of touched
Oh.
base a little bit on the shunned
Yeah.
nanomancer aspect. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Well, Yarp is, as you said, a Shadowmancer.
Shunned nanomancer.
Right. Yeah. And after giving some time looking over my character sheet, trying to kind of mold an image out of that in a persona, as so to speak, I kind of view him as, yeah, he is hideous looking. I mean, think Cenobite from Hellraiser with the skin drawn back, matted hair, missing. You can see skin where some of the hair is actually just fallen out completely. He is. He's nothing to look at. He's scary as hell. I mean, he looks like he looks like a hyena having a very bad day. Generally has blood around his mouth, down his chest. It's normally always dried, but 9 times out of 10, if you meet him on the street, he's got some sort of dried blood somewhere around that region. But despite that, He's a very well-mannered individual. He reads prodigiously. And
Ooh, could there be a fun dynamic between Yarp and Shind where like, yeah, same infection, same cult, same motivations and all that, but Yarp, where Shind is like, ugh, and like kind of fucked up. Maybe Yarp is like, please, sir, can you be a little more reformed? And
yes,
even though they both look fucked up. Oh, I would like that dynamic. That'd be fun.
I don't want to behave. I crave violence. Yeah.
Oh dear God. But yeah, I sat there. I was like, man, he's. I would assume by game terms, very knowledgeable. He's at a +3. I believe that's pretty knowledgeable in this game.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a decent presence for the way he looks. So I mean, even with that, he could probably still smooth talk his way into a bar or something like that. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. His style, however, completely the opposite side of his actual persona. Normally wearing a black leather trench coat, black leather coat, black shirt, black leather pants, just everything black, combat boots. Just the only problem is he spray paints it. So I've got the style Acid Panda. So I kind of saw that as maybe he spray paints his black leather with like whatever neon color he can find. So he could be like a kaleidoscope of color going on. He's got an obsession. I mean, it's I don't know how far you take obsessions in this game, but one of my quirks.
Corpses.
Corpse.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a little Freudian slip there. There's a little Yarp Freudian slip. All right, go on, sorry.
Shin did that. I collect Hummel figurines. So, I put a lot of effort into finding them, restoring them, getting them back into pristine. And, if people fuck with that, they're fucking with their life. So...
What kind of figurines was it again?
Hummel figurines. They're the little, you'll have to look it up. I would recommend looking it up. It's basically just a cute figurine that's collectible. I figured that was one of those things out there you probably just can't find. It'd be like finding a pop head in the future, Probably won't find that one gold Iron Man. See, I was kidnapped as a kid. Maybe Shin did it. I don't know. He said, hey, you look like me. I've got a place for you. And I like the idea of the both of us either growing up in a cult, growing up into the cult together, and getting converts to pay down our debt would be just awesome. If that's something that can not be game breaking, so to speak. Let's see.
I would like everyone to kind of keep their debt. I was going to go over that in a moment after we go over these quirks, wants, and obsessions and stuff, and how the character looks, the power, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
My powers are what's called dead cell spirits. I eat dead things, and it's gonna happen. So after Shin gets done with them, I'll probably be right behind him.
No, it's mine!
I'm on some too. Get out of the way.
No, sharing is caring, and I don't care.
So I can see these two just absolutely fighting over a corpse while the rest of the team is just going, fuck, we're going to get busted.
Hey, it is waste management.
And my infestation, get my mouth work here, is I just tend to disappear and pop up here and there. I mean, I'm sick. I think I said something like 7'8" or something like that. I'm a pretty good sized dude, but I can pop up right beside somebody and just say hi and probably scare the fuck out of them. So I just pop out of existence every now and then and pop back in.
Where is that? Which one is that? What's the title of that infestation?
It's called fading.
Okay.
You seem to fade out of existence, in and out of existence. You'll
pop up in a random location, 50 meters from where you were. Yeah. Okay, cool.
all sight and sensors. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I want to mark
Uh,
these exact infections because something else to be noted, like in
Yeah.
Cyborg, and for people watching, like there's these infections for shunned nanomancers when they fail on using the power. It kind of triggers their personal infestation that's sort of linked to their actual power. But then there's anybody can get infected by this stuff, and they can get an infection and these reactions and stuff just by dealing with contaminated items or creatures or mutated situations. There's all kinds of ways that could happen. Maybe there's a chance, if Shind hits that bloodlust and accidentally bites one of his teammates, maybe there's some type of, role that you're gonna have to do to not to get some type of infection yourself. So keep all that in mind. That's how it works. It's not just limited to shunned nanomancers when it's these infections. We're just going over their direct infections that are linked directly to their actual power. But okay, cool. So we got this. Go over that. What was that?
Oh, you were saying something.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So we got your power and infection. Reiterate your wants, your want, quirk, and obsession. Say that again.
I was saving that for last because I think I've got probably the perfect one for this character. I mean, in reality, all I want is to be loved. That's it. I just want love.
Nice.
Someone to love me.
No, I think that fits if you have good presence and you're playing the character a bit more refined as compared to like Shin's personality trait. I kind of like that. I think that's fun.
Yeah. Finding a smoking jacket down here in the slums is kind of hard, so that's why I'm kind of stuck with these leathers right now. So I could see it happening at one point.
A smoking jacket like Hugh Hefner style.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
comes in with a pipe and everything in his jackal mouth. All right. Anything else to go over with that? Anything else? I think we got the look, the power, the infection, the wants, quirk and stuff.
I smoke a lot. I mean, if it can be smoked, I smoke it. It doesn't matter as long as it smokes.
Okay.
And I've got a pack of real cigarettes, so I don't know who I'm going to be fighting for those. So,
Well, wasn't it TD? I think that smokes too. Was it? Has a gesture. So yeah, maybe you guys will be. Maybe there'll be some contested roles to see who's stealing whose cigarettes sometimes and shit. But yeah, we'll see.
but yeah, that's about it.
Nice, Nolan. Let's dive into Tick, who is a Forsaken gang goon. I'm going to bring up the imagery here, but as you can imagine, it's kind of like gang oriented. But why don't you describe the role of a Forsaken gang goon, exactly what it is, how that relates to your character? Do you like everyone? Describe your character. Let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. A Forsaken Gonk, or wait, sorry, wrong genre. Gangoon is basically I got abandoned by my crew, whether it was through them being killed or maybe they just left me. But in this case specifically, my rival gang kind of they all died. They all died to some strange accident. So I ended up with this new crew somehow. I'm not sure exactly just yet how, but maybe it has to do with the fact that I also smoke stem cigs, and maybe I saw Shin mixing stems over there, and I was like, "Yo."
And your
And the worst part is I'm a really tiny person, about 4'6", to give you. Well, at least my character's 4'6", but it kind of gives you an idea. You can't really quite tell if he's a child, teen, or an adult yet. But basically, because of that, I have a very, very, very low strength. So I'm
You're a
gonna
little
try
guy.
to be. I'm a little guy. Yeah, I'm gonna try.
You ever
not to
seen that
be
Portlandia? I think it was Portlandia, maybe, when he's like, "I'm a little guy. I can do that. I'm a little guy." He plays that little. He's like that little guy that can help because he can get into
you're getting
little
piggybacks.
places and stuff. He's getting piggybacks. He's definitely riding a hyena. At one point,
the tactical Bjorn.
At one point, Tick walks in with a little saddle and looks at Yarp and Shin and goes, "Who's down? Who's down? Who's fucking down?" Like,
slot in, get it going. And then I also wear a kind of like a camo style bomber. The hood, the cuff is a gray. It's like a charcoal gray. It's not black. And then my shirt is kind of. It's like blue shirt with like some generic white text on there. It has the language of a bygone era. Maybe a basilisk head on there. And my RCD device, my retinal comm device, is just a pair of glasses that I wear, just regular glasses. And I just look like a small, like, I look almost innocent, basically. But when you see this kid, he's smoking a cigarette, and you're kind of concerned for him. You don't know if you should do anything about him. But being the world of Cyborg, you're probably not going to care. I also carry a machete, which is kind of useless to me as a kid. It's more for intimidation than it is for me to actually use it. Um, So at first glance, or first opportunity, I need to get a handgun. With that being said, I hope I am able to borrow a handgun from somebody here. Occasionally, my like other jacket is the same jacket that I wear. It's just armored. It's a style guard, so it's very similar. I spent a lot of money while I was running with my crew to look like another VIP. I'm not exactly sure who I want to look like. Maybe I don't know, maybe there's some like famous teen or like kid pop star out there in the hills that I want to emulate because famous people. Occasionally
Matthew McConaughey, only little.
only a little Matthew McConaughey. Very much like our what's it called? Our orphan gearhead, Ruckus. I have to tag everything. So this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna occasionally, maybe I might tag Ruckus, and which one I tag will be up to the imagination of the viewers.
Nice.
I hope you don't mind me reading your eulogy.
With that being said, I only have 1 hit point, so I might not.
So
I
it's
might not
well,
be-
but you
It'll
said
be a quick eulogy.
yeah, it's a one sentence. So if Tick's he's a little guy, right? So I imagine like with 1 hit point, he's a little guy. Maybe some of the strengths he relies on or leans on when it comes to role play is using some of that younger look, using that smaller, more inconspicuous sort of frame to maybe get in and out of situations without being noticed as easy as some of the bigger, more crazier looking characters in the group, right? I like that. I like the danger of only having 1 HP. I definitely am gonna fuck with that as a game master, so be ready for that.
Chino.
So but
Shark
the good
bait.
thing is because I'm stealthy, that's part of my abilities in my Forsaken Gangoon class. All my presence and agility tests are at a -2 DR, and having +2 in my presence already, that's basically a -4.
watch.
So gonna hopefully, if I get a handgun and an auto gun or some kind of gun that lets me do auto fire, man, I'm gonna be mowing down goons left and right. And then
Use him for
my
bait.
wants. Yep, for bait. Well, please don't use me for bait. You know what? Maybe I'm the innocent little member of the cult, and I'm like, I go up to people, and I'm like, "Hey, Mister, do you want to join this cult?" And then I guess because of that, I want to be loved. So maybe I'm like a weird people pleaser, and my style is also like when I think of new flesh, I think of maybe like my pants are leather. Maybe they're made from the flesh that was killed earlier in the day by Shind and Yarp.
Ah,
Oh God.
those pants are soggy.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, maybe the new flesh has something to do too with some of that plastic surgery or what you spent money on. Maybe it's kind of like, maybe you've got like kind of all new skins that doesn't even look like how Tick was, or born.
By the time you see me, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Walk-ins.
I think that covers everything. That covers wants, quirk, and
What was your
current
desire?
Wants to be loved.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was my desire, and then quirk was must tag everything, and then smoking stems or stem cigs.
Yeah, no, and I think the fact that everyone on the team, for the most part, smokes and does stims and drugs. We'll just say Ruckus does too, for the sake of they're the only one out of that. So might as well pull them into that because maybe there's something there. Maybe there's it's like a little bit of a team relation thing, right? Like where even though everyone's different and doesn't trust each other or whatever, you're living together to survive because it's expensive just to be in the city and there's not like typical 9-to-5s, especially for fucked up people like this team, right? So maybe there's something there where like everyone survives together, but gets along by smoking and doing drugs. And like you said, Tick, maybe there's something there with how you met them. Maybe you saw them kind of gathered up and bummed a smoke, or saw Shin and was like, fuck, I could really use something, I don't know. Or maybe you tried to pickpocket off of him at one point and he busted you, but then
Yeah.
felt bad for your small frame and was like, fuck, man, I can't kill a little kid. And you're like, I'm not a kid, and it's like, oh wait, and
Are you
That's
sure?
Wait, what?
perfect 'cause it goes into the specialty. My previous specialty was breaking and entering, so I have a knack
there you
for
go.
opening doors and getting inside buildings. And I tested a DR10 on agility there. So
nice.
maybe that's how we started out. I broke into these guys' safe house and made myself comfortable with the stim stuff, and that's when I was found.
I like that. I think that's cool because and maybe that's like a future thing too with the team. Like you all get along and work together in that, but maybe there's the occasional throwback where it's like, you still realize like Tick did break into y'all's spot at one point. That's how you did meet him. But yeah, I think before we dive into the other characters, how they all know each other, where we're gonna place you, the home base, all that sort of stuff, let's hash out the Shind and Yarp relationship there, because I think regardless of the growing up as a child, where you grew up, how you did the life, and how you got into young adulthood, I think at one point you both obviously got infected by the same nano infection or whatever, the same particles and contaminated object, whether forced on by a cult, maybe got into the same cult, or by a corporation that's controlling a cult or working with, like I know we kind of chatted about some possibilities. Alex, I know you kind of kicked out some in the chat prior to session 0. Let's figure that out, because I do like the fact that both of you have the same type of mutation, even though different contrasting personalities, which again, I love that. But let's kind of define, like, was it a cult? Was it a corporation running a cult? Was it both infected by the same? Was it by choice? Was it captured and infected to be part of a cult, or to be used, or whatever? Why don't you guys kind of discuss those options?
And since you also did ask me to roll the wants and quirks.
I completely forgot you didn't have that. Let's go over that first.
The mixing stems, that was the obsession. I did roll that from previously. I also had 30 was the quirk. I didn't have was the want.
Oh yeah, you did mention that. Okay, good.
And serendipitously, I rolled a d20 and I landed on want drugs.
Yeah, that works.
Drugs.
No, that's good. Yeah, and we did go over that. He's kind of flirty and stuff, and he wants drugs. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, unlike the other ones where the others, they're just like, oh, I just want to be loved. It's like, I don't want to be loved. Everyone loves me, especially me. Yeah, that is Shin from the fever dream, and that is how Shin will continue, because that is his entire existence is a fever dream.
Yeah.
But because I think, let me see here, is one of the things that's, I know where it has a segment in Nanomancer. It's like, oh, how did you get your, how did you get in-fucking? And mine was the yeah. Let's see, Shin got infected and he was subjected to a week-long texorcism, which screams of, like newfangled, science, sorcery, weirdness. It's subjected to, I think that definitely is like, hey kid, you want dinner? Come on down to this social hall. You'll get a nice hot meal. Don't mind the shackles. Don't mind, not skepticism. Yeah. No, as in exorcism, but with technology. As funny as it would be to sound like John Wayne at any given time. That's the unspoken nano. Yeah.
We got someone here that can do that.
What did you roll on your infection, Yarp?
Yeah, go ahead. Yarp, go ahead.
What
did you
for your infection?
How you got it or whatever?
Oh, how I got it?
Yeah, we didn't go over the roll on that.
Book, it said I was kidnapped and subjected to horrible experiments, which kind of plays into what Shino's coming up with. It, and I could almost see it that the two of us were growing up together, and you have the nerd, and then you have the bully, and somehow this odd pair came together as a duo.
Yeah.
Where you have the nerd and the bully actually working together to make everybody else's life hell.
Yeah. It's like, hey, no one can kick his ass but me.
Well, I think that
Yeah.
dynamic would work like coming out of it, like working together out of it. But I would still like to define kind of like, okay, maybe if you all were kids captured by a cult or a corporation that put you into a
Right.
cult, one of those two, to where you're just part of these experiments or cult, and that's going to determine whether you want to be both of you were kidnapped by a cult or a corporation, vice versa. No matter what, it's going to involve some type of cult-esque, because it's going to involve infecting you, like purposely, infecting you as kids to kind of be part of either or the cult or corporation or vice versa or whatever. What do you guys think? Would you have been kidnapped by a cult or a corporation?
Well, it says.
I think originally you rolled on cult, right? Isn't that what you said in the chat, or was that just discussed options or whatever?
That was a brain vomit on my.
Oh,
on my
okay,
part.
okay.
Brain vomit on his
Well, that
part,
works
and
if
I
you want to
actually
go with
ended
that.
up,
Yeah.
in debt to a VIP cult pyramid scheme.
Oh yeah, I did want to go over debt too, and maybe
Yeah.
maybe that could play into this. Not that
Scientology did it.
not that
Scientology.
not that one would go with it, but I do want to go over everyone's debt,
Right.
who you owe, because it might play into it. Let's go over that before we define the Shin Yarp cult or corp thing. But
Alright.
Ruckus, what did you roll on debt?
I don't think it'll play with this current version. Let me see. Oh, okay. There we go. It says someone I trust is hospitalized with increasing medical bills. So
Ooh.
maybe the owner of the junkyard who I befriended kind of
Yeah.
it'll-
Let's
it'll-
go with that, because I have an idea for that anyways of how I was going to kind of define the home base.
So
So-
I'm in charge of the scrapyard and I'm trying to make cash to say prolong their life.
What
They kinda
about
they grew important to me.
What about Shin? Who was your debt owed to?
Do I have that on my old sheet? I have the amount of debt, which is a lot. Let's
They're all a lot, yeah.
This is like fucking like 3d6 times 1,000. I
Right.
rolled like 10K. So it's a D12.
Oh, that's all you got?
That's listen, a lot of it goes into drugs, so it racks up. But let's find out real time. 12. That is 8. Interesting.
You can roll. You can roll twice and then
Oh,
pick the choice. Roll twice and then pick the one that makes more sense to the character. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
A little bit of chance,
Yeah.
a little bit of choice.
Yeah. Let's see. And Death Cult is on the nose. And
That's
the
it.
other one was a Roadrunner clan, which I guess would be like
How about
legally distinct nomads.
could it be? No, let's go with some type of death cult, right? Some type of death.
I like that.
Death cult thing. Let's go with some type of death cult, so I can kind of work the plan that I have. But I think that can
That
sync with Yarp with getting kidnapped. What was that?
I was about to say the whole death cult thing would sync up with the, being kidnapped by a cult and.
Let's go with a cult instead of a corporation, because what we can do is, maybe Shind, as a person and as maybe a junkie or being addicted and stuff, came into debt from some cult or something that basically took you to be enslaved by them, infected or whatever, because they just got tired of the debt, and it was either at that point they couldn't break any more bones. It was either kill you or just infect you and use you, which they did. And maybe when you got into that cult and were being used, and we can figure out maybe whether doing fucked up gigs or something. I don't know. Maybe that'll come up. You can come up with those role play stories if it comes up, like backstories in gameplay, like if you're talking about past things, right, Shind? But what I think is, while you're in that cult and you were captured because of the debt and what you owe them, and forced to work for them, and they infected you and stuff, cult like, right? Maybe while in there you met Yarp, who has a different story of being in the cult, wasn't in debt or pulled in, was a bit more reformed, refined, not as crazy as you, because he didn't come from the same junkie background. He was kidnapped as a kid, and maybe within this cult is working, but still infected within the same sort of infection, and kind of very cult-like, right? And by session 1, maybe you two discuss that in the team chat and define some of those cult details or whatever that would make sense, that the infection they did made you hairy with this sort of hyena jaw-like sort of thing. It's very like animalistic in that, like maybe there's something to that specific death cult, right? And then maybe they're also hand in hand with some type of corporation that's working with this cult, using them to kind of do fucked up things that benefit the bigger picture of this corporation. We'll say something like that. But I like that sort of works with both being in the same cult, having different personalities and being pulled into the cult differently, right? Like you being owed and infected, whereas Yarp was kidnapped as a kid and kind of grew up in this cult or whatever. Does that work for you too?
Yeah, and I think
yeah, for sure.
and coming from someone who is being perpetually eaten alive by the healthcare system, U.S. resident, the thing of like, oh, congratulations, you've been rescued. Here, we're gonna do the procedure on you. By the way, here's this massive fucking bill. You're welcome. It's like, So the whole thing of being abducted by the cult, being mutated, and then slapping him with the bill.
How about
consent to this?
How about this? You didn't know your debt directly to that cult. Maybe you ordered it to like the big corporation or something that, kind of subsidizes these sort of people and fucked up addiction and stuff. With these debts that then
We're
they can
cure you.
Yeah, but they're kind of pushing people in that, right? And they're kind of like taking that debt, and then they go over to the cult and go, here, look, you can buy it out, and here's another little minion for you. So they kind of use it. They do the debt. They're kind of making their profits, but then once you can't pay it anymore, you just kind of become, their cult just takes you, infects you, and you become a slave to
Rogue
it.
One. You are being rescued. Congratulations. Please do not resist.
Yeah.
Later on, when we get into the mechanics phase, I do have a question about something.
Okay. Yeah, and we can any mechanic stuff we can talk off stream in the chat about little details like that. But let's go with that. So then off stream, you two decide some of the details of the cult and put it in there, just for the sake of like if it comes up in role playing conversation between you two, between the team, or if there's anything that I like out of that needs to come into gameplay or something. Just like any campaigns, how you might pull some life path stuff or lore, right? But I like that. It makes sense. You guys are both in that same cult. The current situation, let's say both of you are technically out of it now, right? You guys can decide, did you work together to break out of it, escape the cult? Are they still looking for you? Were you eventually able to work off the debts and stuff and then sneak out Yarp, who was kidnapped because his wasn't debt involved? Like, kind of have to have that make sense. But both of you, I would kind of like both of you out of the cult now, because it'd make more sense that you're with this team now, not having to work for them anymore, right? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
And rest of the team, Ruckus, TD, Tick, if any of you all have ideas for Shind and Tarp to have that make sense, feel free to chime in. Obviously, we'll get to everyone else's characters in a moment, but this is for everyone to kind of discuss to have it make sense. There's no good or bad ideas. Everything is just a fucking idea. Put it out there. We'll see what sticks, But what does everyone think about how did you get out of the cult? What do you guys think?
I was thinking maybe Yarp was helping out Shind because Yarp felt awful for Shind because he wanted to be loved. He had no friends in the cult.
Now I've got a friend. I could possibly see, given his, his knowledge and persuasiveness, he might be able to do it with the rules, use their own rules against them to get out. going, hey, in this bylaw here, it states blah, blah, blah. So because of that, you must follow this bylaw, which is blah, blah, blah. Let us out. Or you're in violation of the contract, so on and so forth. Basically, I would find it an administrative way of getting out, so we can avoid having Shino eat everybody, which I don't think would bode well for our futures. So,
Nor my waistline.
Yeah, and that absolutely works. We can go with that if you like that way out. Me as a game master, I would prefer more of like maybe you used some of that knowledge and ability to try to cover your tracks or make you look like something happened to somewhat disappear, whereas Shin gets to escape or something along those lines. Like instead of a more amicable sort of departure from a cult, I would like more of an escape. And like they're still looking for you guys. You know what I mean? I think that would feel more cult-like.
so
versus
backing up in the bush, flipping them off, basically.
I don't know, or disappearing or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever's there. But just as a game master, it just feels more fun and dangerous if you escape to the cult versus got them on a technicality and they're like, foiled again. All right, later, guys. I think they're a cult and they wouldn't just let you go that easy. I would like more of a tension point there. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. We can go with like outsmarting them on some technicality, and maybe they have some resentment towards you, and they're still like, all right, fine, you're good to go. Let's kill him the first chance we get. Like it could be that too, Like
Exactly.
it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be amicable either. Like it could still be like catch them on a technicality. But again, as a game master, I lean more towards an escape versus that. But I also can have fun with that. It can go either way. I just wanted to put out another idea. You guys discuss it.
I mean, I've been in a situation where I used their own rules against them and got off scot free, and they changed the rules after I got out, and then they tried to hunt me down to keep me quiet with an NDA, so I couldn't tell anybody about the rules. So I kind of saw that going, hey, this could work in this situation to an extent. And now the cult is looking for me because they don't want anybody else to know about these rules. They want them covered up.
And like I think it could be a simple thing of like you've this subject, this scion, whatever they call their conglomeration, as racked up this massive debt because of glorious ascension. You're not going to be that debt's not going to be paid unless you let him out to go work it, because because we now have like an entity of like potentially spooky NPCs. By all means, to the GM, have them breathing down my neck. So Shind is out, but only if he's like out and like throwing money at the problem to kind of like stopgap between them. But by all means, you have the fucking like Shadow Wizard Money Gang show up in front of the spot and just go, I'm watching you, TikTok. Let's start repoing me.
Well, the only thing to consider within that is the fact that the idea was that you owed debt to the corporation that you couldn't make good on anymore, and that's why they gave you to the cult, who instead of just killing you for not being able to pay the debt, they infected you to use you as like kind of a slave, right? Like slave labor-esque sort of, because you're infected. They infected you. So I would like less. I would like less like get out there and work and keep paying the debt, because in which case the corp would have just had you keep doing that and paying the debt, right?
Yeah.
And plus, it gives a little more tension and shit there too. Like if it's again, like less keep paying the debt and more like escaped or fucked up or got them on a technicality or something along those lines where you got out versus
I like covering my tracks.
Being nice.
Like that.
Is it like
covering our tracks on the way out? I kind of like that.
Yeah, I think that's fun too, because it just puts like I said, it gives a point of tension too, like a little bit of paranoia. Right?
Planet of the Apes, like Lab Escape. Yeah.
Yeah, like no matter what's going on with campaigns and other paranoia and dangerous situations, there's always a sort of looming, like looking over your shoulder, like, are we being followed? No, I think we're good. That sort of vibe.
Someone knocks on the door and me and Shin jump behind the couch and like peek up going, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so look, let's
narc on you.
What was that?
God.
What was that, Ruckus?
I said Ruckus can always narc on you. You guys did jump in on me while I was on the job.
We did clean up that mess for you.
So look,
let's tie in with me.
It was delicious.
Let's tie that to Ruckus because NTD, anybody can get in. I think we kind of have an idea of a possible tick, enter the tick situation, like where you have everything and he just jumps through the window going spoon or something. No, but let's say whatever the home base is, like Tick does the break-in thing. You meet. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's put the team together, the other rest of the team together, and then enter Tick right, like in that at the end of it or whatever. So we got the Shind Tarp thing, the connection, the cult that's partners with this corporation that Shind owed debt. Yarp was kidnapped too, given to the cult, infected to kind of be part of this fucking cult and just do fucked up missions for him. And again, those fucked up missions and stories to help further the cult might come up in gameplay and stories between Yarp and Shind sometimes. Who knows? That might be something fun. But we know that you all met. I think Ruckus having the Korok thing kind of linking to a possible someone you care about, and it being the old man that ran this sort of junkyard that was known for not just junkyard for waste and scrap materials of a city of Psy, which is needed for such a fucked up city, but also like anybody that's kind of in the know with fucked up gigs and stuff and gangs and families, like they know that's the dude in the junkyard. You could kind of make things disappear too, right? In his
maybe he had a knack for making things go away quiet.
Exactly. So he kind of works in the underbelly as well. That's how everyone knows this old man, right? Gramps or something. I don't know. You can come up with a fun name for him. By session 1, you can refer to him by his name eventually. But here was my idea with him is like, and this kind of plays into your story, your life path-esque sort of relation to him is maybe you had that relationship. He got sick. You fucking agreed to kind of run the junkyard, keep it going to help him because he's helped you so many times, and you don't have anyone being an orphaned gearhead and other than you and Ruckus, but he died, and now you're kind of in this situation like, look, he died. I need a place to stay. I've got this junkyard. I can continue on like his kind of legacy and keep it going. But also there's this sort of thing where the city of Psy doesn't know that he died. So you're still kind of faking that like he owns the property. Everything's fine here. The business is still running. That way the city doesn't come and just fucking take it. Whoever owns the property that the mortgage was on or whatever, however the city of Psy might work. And it's probably a bit more dystopian than what we consider in modern times as mortgages and normal shit, right? Like it's probably way more fucked up. But so like there's a little tension there too. Like you have this home base. To cover the bills and stuff, you do have to keep it functioning. Every once in a while, people come and you got to make something disappear, and you got to act like the old man is just busy or something or off or something. You figure that out. Maybe
maybe artificial dummy to pretend to be the old man.
Weekend at Bernie's him, right? So like whatever it is, maybe the city shows up one day and like they're checking on like some expired permit or something. I don't know. These are all just off the top of my head, but let's put that there. So you have that junkyard, you have that home base, but there's a little bit of tension with it because he did pass, and no one knows, and you're trying to maintain because now you need a home base and shit, right? And maybe somewhere in that home base, let's figure out how TD got there. Maybe he was in the doghouse the whole time and you never noticed till the old man died and you officially moved in, and you realize, who's this fucking dude living in this doghouse out back? I don't know. I kind of like that. You guys discuss that. And then let's figure out how Shind and Yarp ended up at this place. Maybe they hid out there when they escaped the cult. I kind of like that. Maybe they hid out in this fucking junkyard that no one is running, and then Ruckus showed up after old man died to maintain one, a couple and met there. I don't know. Maybe there's something there. And then after all that, and then
over to the junkyard, and then I'm in their secret.
Yeah.
I've
Something there.
got an idea,
But
I've got an idea, but I want TD to go first.
Yeah. You all talk about that, and Nolan, interject ideas if you have it for them, but let's not inject Tick into the situation until we settle all that, because then we'll discuss the break-in and how that kind of works out. But yeah, discuss it. How does it go? Ruckus already's got the spot. Old man died. How does it? Do you like the idea of TD being in the doghouse already, and then Yarp and Shind hiding out there, or any other ideas? Cool. Yeah, discuss it.
I was gonna say with TD with he was asleep in a car that got towed to the junkyard and woke up and just like that's how he started. Like he owes about 10 grand to a fixer with cops on their payroll. And then when I rolled for how badly did they want their cash back, it was very.
damn.
I don't know. I like that little joke
like
you have in there.
Very.
Yes.
Roll 1d6, and if it's anything 1 between 6, that they want it back very, very much.
It's I love that. It's like haha, the illusion of choice.
Yeah.
Mwah, chef kiss.
There's a
Done.
big old banner that says "Cops stay out."
Beware of dog. We've got to
Go
have
back
that
with the
up.
warrant.
But yeah, I like that. We'll say, I like the debt idea. That can be a separate thing, maybe not tied directly into Ruckus, but I like the idea that maybe passed out at one point or in the back of a car that got towed and dropped off at the junkyard. Then
Almost crushed you. That would be cool.
yeah, maybe pulled in
Like she was-
and maybe as Ruckus is demolishing or something, you woke up in the situation and got out and then met or something. I also still kind of like the doghouse idea because you've kind of put that on the character versus that just popping up out of nowhere. Like maybe you got towed there in the car, woke up there. Maybe it wasn't getting demolished. You woke up there, kind of broke out of it and passed out in a nearby doghouse on the property. Like there's all this junk and shit, right? And kind of started crashing there or something, and Ruckus came across you. Or it could be finds you in the car and demolish. But if that's the case, then there needs to still be some kind of like, why you become friends and Ruckus is okay with TD staying there and working together and stuff. And then we got to pull in Shind and Tarp too, or Yarp, if that was hiding out there from escaping the cult. And again, Ruckus stumbles across them because Ruckus is taking care of the property, so it kind of puts Ruckus at this pinnacle position, right? This sort of
Maybe
Just doesn't matter. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, like, maybe shortly after discovering him there, maybe someone did come snooping around the junkyard, like trying to make sure things were above board or whatever, or maybe cops or
I like this. Not to
and stepped in.
How about
and then,
yeah,
like
either one of the. It's funny. Your idea exactly that could go the Ruckus route or TD route. You all decide. I like that getting dragged there, passed out in a car, whatever. You end up in the junkyard, cool. Crashing out in a doghouse, drunk one night, that works too. However you end up there, cool, right? Define that, and that's just a random ended up there being fucked up, towed there in a wrecked out car, or woke up in the fucking doghouse. But I love the idea of either or. Whoever that fixer fucking knows that you were there, shows up to collect debt or fuck you up, and Ruckus kind of like sees you, doesn't know you that well, but doesn't like the bully aspect of that shit, and has your back and covers for you and gets rid of the fixer, makes him go, and then you're like, fuck, you didn't have to do that. That's kind of cool. No one's done shit for me before. And you guys, and you make friends that way.
I got a special for you. Let me go. Let's go in the back. I'll go show it to you.
Yeah, or vice versa, or vice versa. Someone like you said, someone shows up to check on Ruckus and the old man who's not there, and you kind of see that going on and see that it's a fucked up situation, and maybe you step in and talk them out of that or something. But again, it can't be a step in, kill the fucking city official to cover it up, because then it's going to rain a bunch of shit on the property, right? So it has to make sense. I lean more towards the Ruckus covering for you with the fixer, but again, let's walk through it, talk it out. What do you guys think?
Sorry, I don't mean to keep stepping up. I'm sorry, real quick. But then I think that if it's the fixer that's I owe money to showing up, I think that him showing up, that like it would make sense that I got taken there in a car, like maybe I crawled out and went into the doghouse or whatever. But like that's a good way that he'd be able to track me there, because if they were looking for me, being like, where was the last place you saw him? Threw him in the trunk of this car. Where's the car? Like, it got towed.
Like, junkyard.
I love it. Yeah. Let's go with that, because that makes more sense too. Like I said, for the fact that however Ruckus gets rid of this fixer, kills him off or, talks him away from the junkyard, whatever, Ruckus covers for you. And,
He's retired upstate.
Yeah, and this is the city of Psy. Not a lot of people fucking cover for other people, especially when they don't know them personally. So that kind of like, touched you a little bit. And you're like, fuck, that's kind of cool of Ruckus. And like you guys kind of met that way, and Ruckus kind of had your back, just seeing that you were in that desperate situation. This fixer was going to fuck you up or something. Yeah. I don't know. Does that work for y'all?
I like it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do have a question. How on a scale of things, how large is this place? It's like, the lines of crushed cars all over the place, scrap metal.
Oh, the junkyard. The junkyard is like, I would say the total property is not that large because the city of Psy is just so compact, and this is actually in the city. But let's just say maybe like a quarter of a city block, right? So if you take like a city block, just imagine a quarter of it, like a few businesses wide. So like maybe a standalone building, a sort of wall. Maybe there's some buildings attached directly to some parts of it. Maybe some of it opens up to a city street, which I also kind of like as well. But aside from the building, there's obviously some type of like compactor destructive area that maybe has like a chemical wash, compacts chemical washes, burns it out, can disintegrate things, right? Whatever futuristic way you can decide of getting rid of things. And then like you said, maybe like stacks of rubble, whether pieces and debris and things pulled out from wreckage of buildings and things that came from ground zero, and maybe there's like some risk of infection in some parts of the junkyard, maybe some vehicles stacked up in another part, maybe it's in sections, whatever, but let's just say it's about a quarter of a city block.
So I could see Sino and of course, running from the cult and needing a place to lay low, going, hey, this place has been dark for a while, let's go there, and maybe in a corner of it basically set up damn near a house with all the scrap, like a scrap hut, and something like that. We didn't know anybody else was here.
No, exactly. No, and I like that idea because, like, if you're running from a cult in your situation, it's not like you're going to go to a motel. You're not going to go. You have nowhere to go. Right. You guys have been in this fucking cult. Like, literally, you got to live on the street. Yeah, you find this scrapyard and totally like stand up some pallets in the back. Yeah, that makes sense.
Ruckus comes out like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's like, "Your authority's not recognized in Fort Kickass."
I like that.
No girls allowed. Can't you read the sign?
I like that.
I peed on it. It's fine.
I like that. And Yarp is like, don't mind him. He lacks the no, but I like that. Okay, so order of events. Is it Ruckus covering for old man, trying to care for him, he dies. Ruckus, you start taking it over. Then TD, you see him appear one day, the whole fixer situation, you two are together, and then after that Yarp and Shind showed up in that fort, and maybe one of the days TD, since you sleep out in the yard, not in the house, in the doghouse, maybe one night you actually heard them and kind of like looked in between some of the rubble and cars and found some pallets up and found like Yarp and Shind kind of crashed out there. Maybe it was even a tense moment. And again, these stories can come out in roleplay in some of these future sessions as we get through the campaign. Maybe there's like a moment like somebody teases somebody about that day when you found them in that fort or got along, or you thank them for not killing you when they found you or something, because he is a renegade cyber slasher, and the orphaned gearhead does have Ruckus. They do have a weapon platform, but the nanomancers, there's two of them, and they do have powers too, so I don't know, but I do like the order of events being Ruckus had it, TD got there, the fixer came, you guys teamed up from that random act of kindness from Ruckus covering for you, TD. And then maybe TD, from being in the doghouse, came across Yarp and Shind, crashed out on the property at one point. Now, however that plays out to where you all eventually get along, stay at the house, and start deciding, like, you know what, this is a rough city. We all come from fucked up backgrounds. Maybe we should work together, stay here, and try to make money together and fucking survive together, since this is all we kind of have. I kind of like that. If that works for everyone else, let's not define those details. Let's let those details arise in gameplay, like I said, in the form of little, comebacks and stories or fun moments or thankful moments of when you guys actually were friends, which is rare in the city. I don't know, whatever. But does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Then let's figure out Tick. Yeah, if that works for everyone.
Remember you didn't kick my ass. I really appreciate that.
Exactly. Remember that day you didn't kill me? Remember that?
Hey,
remember when you didn't kill me? That was pretty cool. No, but if that's how it pulls everyone together and you decide to start doing gigs together, it's a rough city, we got to survive. How do we pull Tick in? Tick's breaking in one day. And Tick, chime in here. Is it, like you said, you had the new gang and stuff, right? Is it kicked out of the new gang, no longer with them, still friendly with them, but maybe we're doing a break-in on the side, then got friendly with this team? I don't know. How does this go down?
My gang was killed by another rival gang, and my debt is owed to some road gangers. So, my mind, road gangers, the other gang somehow got my gang killed. So now there's a lot of guilt associated with me killing my gang. And what part of the debt is only 1,300 cred, so it's not a lot, 1,300. So maybe the
Trade.
this do I?
You want trade? My debt for your
No,
debt.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm hanging on to mine. Mine's easy because um, the road ganger that I owe money to, they need a place to stay occasionally. So perhaps I was breaking and entering into this place to give them a temporary space to give me some breathing room. But maybe as I was breaking and entering, it was maybe empty. These guys had gone on a run, or they were just out about doing their own thing, and then. Before I know it, I was messing around with some stems that just smelled really intoxicating, and I had to investigate what they were and passed out, and that's how the crew found me.
I love that. Yeah, and then yeah, breaking in, owing a debt to the biker gang that killed your original gang, right? And you kind of have to, forced to kind of work with them, or they'll kill you too. But maybe you were just a little guy, and you were kind of young at the time, so they didn't kill you.
Yeah.
They just kind of took you and used you, or whatever, right? Maybe there's something there. But I do like the idea, like you broke in, you're trying to hook them up with a place to stay, or you, or whatever, and kind of working off some of the debt, but then just couldn't help yourself when you saw Shin's goodie box, right? And you just had to kind of dip into some of his drugs, and then you found out that some of the other ones had some stims and smokes, and before you knew it, you passed out and were fucked up. And then the team comes home that night from a gig to find Tick just passed out on the floor with drugs all around him. And I don't know, how would the team react to that? I imagine the first reaction would be like, who the fuck is this going to kill him? But then maybe it's like he's a little dude and he wakes up and then you get along. I don't know, how does that play out to where then Tick gets along?
Oh, he got into shit on those drugs. That's going to be a problem.
Could I interest
Oh
you in
shit! Ate my meth miso. What the fuck?
Are you here for the dirt nap ticket?
I was getting one of those things like I want to kill him, but the drugs haven't. So like, I gotta respect it.
Ooh, how about I do
Oh,
kind of
guys,
like that.
all liver.
Look. I all jokes aside, I love what you just said there, Alex. Because look, this is Cyborg. The city of Cy is fucked up. It's like Night City on nano fucking infections and shit, right? It's like even that much more with a touch of horror.
It's on steroids.
Yeah, it's got a little horror in there too. Like I do kind of like the idea that like if Tick broke in, with that whole background idea that you came up with there, Nolan, for Tick, breaking in with those intentions, fucked up, passed out, wakes up. Maybe the team initially is like, who the fuck is this that broke in? But then as the team is getting ready to kill him, Tick is waking up, still kind of fucked up. Shin's doing an account of all the things that Tick did while the team's over here about to kill him and goes, hold on a minute. This guy's got, for a little guy, he did a lot of shit. Like you're kind of impressed by the amount of shit that Tick did maybe and didn't die for his size. I don't know. That's kind of funny, but it kind of has a dark tone to it that works.
Are we alive? Inquiring minds across the city want to know.
And it's like that's literally the only reason why like you guys didn't kill him and you let him stay. Like you're just like, wow, like kind of impressed by the drug use, which is dark. But then it comes out, then Tick kind of like, yeah, actually I was only breaking in because I owe this fucking gang that killed my gang, and then then again, just like all of you kind of felt bad for him, and you all realize that you're all kind of in this fucked up situation, and you're kind of this makeshift family, and maybe you should kind of help each other, and like I don't know, this all kind of makes sense.
No, I mean, how mad would the Tick be if he was teased?
Who would?
I mean, I just
is he
had a great
sensitive
idea
about
to
his
tease
height?
you.
Is he sensitive about his height?
He's sensitive about your height.
Didn't even ask that.
It would rub him the wrong way, and then because he's like basically trapped like a 30-year-old dude trapped in like this like 16-year-old.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, no.
So if Jim and I set up a race car bed and a teddy bear room for you, you would get pissed off now, wouldn't you? Or is this
Absolutely.
I love that.
You just accept because you didn't get killed.
Yeah, well, I mean, accept like it's just accepted as just having to stifle that immense anger that's coming out. I'm sure some of you have seen Zootopia, the Disney movie. There's a scene where one of the bad guys, he's like this short little dude, and he plays this very innocent person. So it's probably more what I'm thinking about for Tick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kiss me, I'll bite your face off.
No, I like that, and maybe
Yes.
and maybe a little teasing with it, because everyone met in, everyone on this team has met in fucked up situations, and in some of these cases, like where it was like almost doing bad to each other, but then realizing it wasn't directly because of that reason. It was like because they had to, or they're in debt, or something, or you felt bad for them. I don't know. I do like that aspect of it because like everyone's meeting in a fucked up way, but then realizing they're fucked up
Yeah.
too, and there's once you get into the details of it, you get along, but maybe there's still some teasing, some ribbing, some, like
Right.
I like that too, absolutely, and I like the idea that if there is some of that towards Tick, that Tick, although not happy with it, accepts it because of the fact, like, yeah, well, like this gang killed my gang, and I could be way more fucked up over there, and they could have killed me that day, so I do tolerate it, but I bite my fucking tongue, and maybe on the side, every once in a while, Yarp, Shind, anyone else who makes fun of them for that, every once in a while, like, your food tastes a little weird. Your toothbrush has a funny taste to it. There's like weird little prank things that maybe Tick is doing behind the scenes because he's like pissed but can't directly
Right. Yeah,
lash
I
out.
totally
Like, I don't
see
know.
that.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I could
This isn't one
totally
of
see
my
us,
hairs.
I could totally see us giving like Teddy a couple of dog bones in a dog bowl in front of the doghouse where he stays. I mean, just fucked up little shit like that all over the place.
You
Or,
are one of us.
buy some bags of neo fertilizer and leave them by the doors for our Shun nanomancers who are growing flowers out of their heads.
Oh God!
Rub some
right,
dirt
you
on
need-
it. Hey.
Right. Page 12. Uh,
Mhm.
you said page 12, right?
What were we set up last?
Down by burn church hex. Don't know why I struggled with that word. There, you got the slums there, you got the industrial area down there, and then you have the hills, which is a goal of maybe Tick's goal is he wants to get into the hills, get away from this life.
So you want
That's
to
just
get
for Tick.
that little purple patch right there by Burn Church?
Mhm.
Or maybe Laketon?
Laketon would also be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the red shit that's water, right?
No.
PWB says he can't hear you.
Oh,
Oh.
You. Yeah.
here he is.
That's weird. Did you accidentally turn off your mic feed? Because I can.
Can you hear me again? Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Chat, let me know. I'm not sure why that
Here we
cut
go.
off.
You're
Oh,
Here's
now
all
you're-
but Rob.
Okay.
Well, the rest of us are quiet.
Yeah, where did it cut off? Because I want to make sure that we covered everything. But
We're good now.
yeah, I was saying I want to put the home base in Laketon, so it's bordered to Burn Church Hex, Galg back in. You're right there by Ground Zero, which is fun for infected things and the possibility of fucked up encounters there.
So the red stuff is bad, right?
Or is that water?
I
'Cause
think
it
it's
looks,
water. It's like blood with water.
yeah, because
Yeah,
okay.
is one I love because they
Yeah,
they get,
keep in mind all this is water. Because the whole
Yeah.
city of Psy, that's what all these, like, if you look in between these districts, like look in
Right, like
between
Amsterdam,
Ports,
yeah.
North Central, Ground Zero, all these, you see those little white lines? Those are all bridges.
Yeah.
So
Um,
so like these are all kind of sectional
Can we
because of
be under a bridge?
the great floods and stuff.
Are you a troll?
No, you guys
Right.
are in Laketon because you guys have to have the junkyard. Um,
Right. I was just wondering if it could be under, like, one of the big Sky 5 highways, where they're all elevated and going around, and then you got all
sure,
the
yeah.
people living underneath them.
Yeah, there can be
it's
a
like,
highway above the junkyard, this block.
I'm just thinking
But ultimately,
access.
yeah, let's put it in Laketon. Like I
Yeah.
said, that way we have more borders. You've got the waters and rivers as you see kind of cutting through Laketon. It's its own kind of like that little district is also broken up into like 3 or 4 sections. You see there a bunch of bridges.
yeah.
But again, your borderline to normal industries, to hills. You got the hills right there. You've got industrial kind of areas in between normal neighborhood areas, and you're bordering Ground Zero, which is always fun. So I like all that. That's perfect
The
location.
I
the
would say
thing that
put her on the water.
What was that?
yes, like,
Oh, go ahead.
the thing is, like, especially like in Laketon and like the canals, that, and with the canals like like being up, again washing against Ground Zero, this opens the door for so many like fucked up mutated
Yeah,
water creatures.
what we could do too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it talks about that in the rule book too. But what we could do, since you want to be under a bridge, and just kind of give it like that aesthetic and that feeling and multi layers
Yeah.
and stuff. What it could be too is like in Laketon, maybe you have this junkyard that is on this, what was once a functional barge. Like kind of like a trash barge that's about the size of a quarter block city. That's kind of
Oh,
like
nice.
permanently
No.
kind of parked in between these canals attached to a city block because some of these city blocks are kind of like that. But yeah, let's put it on the water, but like part of the city, right? Like it's part of Laketon, it's part of land and shit. But like technically, you're on a barge. Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
water,
And
and maybe
there's
that's part of the
crap there.
Maybe that's part of the disposal too. Like think of like the compacting of things to make things disappear. Like the old man that used to run the junkyard, right? Like maybe it does a chemical wash, and then like just dumps into the fucking water, Like,
Oh, God.
below.
No one didn't
So
notice
it
anything.
grinds it,
Yeah.
chemical washes, turns it into like this paste, and then just dumps it into the water for whatever creatures to eat or something. I don't know.
Try
Right.
the
Can
gray
hear-
stuff. It's delicious.
Can hear us like, dead of night, like
Shin
2
likes it.
a.m. out there fishing, me and Shin yelping and
Oh no.
barking up a storm when we catch something.
You don't want to fish in that place, but yeah, that would be fun.
Oh, we do it anyway. Look what I got.
Oh yeah.
Take
No,
it
I
and
like that.
show,
Let's put it there. Let's put it in Laketon. That gives a bunch of variety for borders. Let's put it like specifically like on a fucking parked barge, like that's been kind of altered as part of the city block. Just puts another little fun aspect to it being on water. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else with the location, the junkyard, the dynamics between the team? Anything else before we start session 1? Because what I want to do is like establish not just the typical session 0 things, which we did, lines and veils, gameplay, all that, introduce cyborg to anybody watching that's not familiar, but define the characters. We know what roles we are, how they look, their quirks, their kind of slight personality hints that we've got so far. We'll see it all come to life as we roleplay, obviously, but then we've also discussed how the team know each other, how they all know each other, how they've connected and where they live. What was that?
I do have a question. Like when we start out, would I have any connects with any of the corpse on a standing connection?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the chat off stream, but I like that idea because look, you took over the junkyard, which was working with some corporations, maybe some cults, maybe some fixers, that style thing, because aside from being a normal junkyard, which would work with, again, corporations, locations, it is kind of like to make things disappear sometimes, which is what the old man was doing, which is how you knew him. So yeah, I like that. Okay, so while everyone is kind of Yarp and Shind in chat off stream are discussing some of the details with the cult they escaped, right? And I like the idea of, them infecting in the same way. That's why y'all look the same. But define some of the cult things in chat off stream. And then Ruckus, if you want to kind of chat with me. And keep in mind, anyone from the team can chime in on everyone else's lore and things. Because, good ideas. Let's kick them out. But maybe off stream, Ruckus, you think about, what we just discussed. Maybe a corporation or a fixer or a cult or a couple or something that you might know that you've worked with, or you at least have a relationship because of the junkyard or something. Maybe
Like
there's
a
something
loose
there.
kind of connection with them.
Yeah, a little business
I would-
relationship. I like that.
I'd love the connection between what is darn it, now I have to go look. I already forgot. Ruckus. God damn it. I'd love that, the connection between her and the owner, but maybe it goes a bit deeper because most normal people wouldn't go out of their way to keep somebody alive, like maybe a family member or something.
Well,
Or
the idea was because Ruckus is an orphaned gearhead, collapsed in the building, had no
Literal.
one, was
Okay.
left orphaned. Basically, a drone
Yeah.
helped Ruckus, and they kind of combined. And correct me if I'm wrong, Raven, if I'm getting the character wrong, but it's kind of like that. And I think because of that, you connected with the old man. He was like the only one, because of gigs and whatever. He was the only one that, maybe he realized you were alone and kind of took you in and was nice to Ruckus. And
Right.
maybe
Yeah,
there's something there, but it could also be family. I like that idea too. There's no, Vulpus. It could be family. It could be, but it already
This
kind of
could
made
be an
sense to me
additional,
because of being orphaned,
Yeah.
an orphaned gearhead. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is kind of family, if you will. Adopted, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Okay, cool.
We're a fucked up family.
Yeah, you are a fucked up. You are a fucked up family.
Very fucked up.
Very cyborg. Very cyborg.
Family is an F word too.
Fam damn it. Yeah, I love it. I think we're there. I think this was a successful session 0. I think we got the characters down, the relationship between all of them. I think it was a lot of fun. I can picture the order of events and how everyone kind of came in. It's got the right amount of darkness and humor to it that I like. It just, it's serious, but it has that sort of dark humor aspect to it, which kind of pulls the team together. Yeah, I'm real happy where it's sitting. We have a little bit of homework to do in chat, right? So let's discuss some of the things we talked about off stream in that chat before session 1, just so we have that knowledge. And like I said, when we start session 1, we're instantly going to be diving into a gig and a campaign, and I'll lay it out because we already have this foundation now, so that's great. Again, thanks chat for being part of it, tuning in, being part of the story. We will be back on Saturdays. We're going to try to stream 5 p.m. Pacific every Saturday, but you know how that goes down. Schedules and things, we might have to shift sometimes or skip. We'll always put the word out there, but session 1 will be next Saturday. So everyone make that a plan, tune in, and we'll see you then. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
Cybernation Uncensored.